Three. All right, everybody, welcome back to Movie Talks and Chill. We're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin Buck.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And with us today, James, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself for the audience here?
Hello, so I'm James Morcan. I'm based in Sydney, Australia. I've just directed my first feature film called ANNO 2020, and I'm also an actor and a writer and novelist.
Oh, very good. And well, thank you for joining us. This is pretty cool because we've gotten to interview people from all over, never Australia.
Yes.
So,
Our first international
yeah.
interview.
Cool.
Fantastic, man. You had this film debuted. I know you said it's now streaming. It started streaming on the 13th. Was that correct? Of September?
Yes, so we had a bit of a cinema run here in Australia, around different states, and we had a festival run, and then we've begun streaming, and we're looking to add more streamers in the future. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
So the cinema run that went through Australia, how did that go? Did you get distribution for that sign on, or how did you set that up for the run in Australia?
That was basically we did it ourselves, but we had like a world premiere in Sydney, then in Melbourne, Victoria, we had the Victorian premiere, then we went to Queensland, and that's a big area. That's like go around the states. So it was quite for a film that our total budget is $6,000. It just keeps returning. Like I didn't when I was working with my editor, I never thought that this would be something that would even play in cinemas. My goal was really streaming and maybe some cinema run with festivals, you know.
That's
So when
that's got to be a
yeah,
that's got to be a
so
real good feeling, like seeing it on the big screen.
oh yeah, quite a shock actually, and it does for a director. I think it changes you when you've experienced that with audiences. Yeah,
Oh, very good. And you said this was so you're an author as well. So you had written the book first, correct? This is based off the book that you wrote?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yes, so I've written a bunch of novels, but often with my father, who's a novelist and journalist, we often collaborate. But this was my first solo one, and yeah, so adapting it from a novel to a screenplay and then going through the editing process. This was a situation where yes, I had a novel, but then I was shooting during the lockdowns, and we were shooting around different states in Australia, and then around the world I was directing teams of film crews, teams of actors, because I obviously couldn't travel during the lockdowns. But it became a little bit docudrama in that we were dealing with actors' real life stuff as well during that time. So I feel I would have been foolish to just say follow my story because so much was just developing during that time.
Yeah,
So
that was something I found interesting about the movie is that you had such that diverse area that you were dealing with. Like, so how did you all coordinate and work on? Did you have each team check in like that? That seems like a nightmare.
you took the words out of my mouth. It was a bit of a nightmare, but we had to coordinate it from this end, and then sometimes we had maybe three or four different locations. I think one time we had Italy on, we had someone in Palm Springs, then we had someone here in Sydney, and maybe someone in China all at once.
Wow.
So, and that's a situation you don't want to mess up when you're working out the time zone difference,
Yeah.
you really don't want to stuff up that.
And so because you had to shoot in all these different areas and obviously from a distance and all the collaboration, how long did the production take to get this project done?
It was probably about eight months in terms of shooting, but the hardest part was the editing of all that. So it was more, even though I'm not in documentaries, I know a lot of filmmakers. So they've taken me into the studio. I understood techniques you can do, which is even though I am a writer, this was almost bypassing the writing process where you just collect. We had enough for a mini series here, you know what I mean, or even a full TV series. So it was just about collecting that, and then the hard part was the editing, like figuring out what are we going to do.
Okay. And so you said you've written multiple novels, and this one was the first solo one. What made you decide to adapt this into a film? Like, what was the drive behind that? Was there a lot of interest in there, or was it something that you just wanted to do?
Yeah, I think I decided that early on that as soon as I started writing the novel, I thought this could be the right one for my debut as director. And I think I was really, I still have no answers about what we went through during that time, but it was just about, I just had all these questions and I'm trying to figure it out. And I thought, why not experience that together as a communal thing as we make the movie? We're wondering what the hell, like, it's easy to look back now and go, that was a brief period of time. But when you think of things like maybe paranoia or these types of things, well, we didn't know it was gonna, it seemed like it almost could be forever.
Yeah.
And you guys probably had my understanding is in Florida, there wasn't as intense a lockdown, but in some parts of the world, like here in Australia, it was pretty severe, so we couldn't move for months at a time.
Yeah, ours, especially in this in this particular area where we're at in Florida, so we're like in the Tampa Bay area on more of the Gulf Coast side. And the lockdown here really wasn't that long,
It,
like the official
it
lockdown.
was, yeah, it was very like, it was very stringent early on,
Yeah.
like in the
March
first,
to June, I think it
yeah,
was pretty hard.
first part of the outbreak. But after that, yeah, it got, the governor loosened a lot of strings. And I mean, because tourism is a big thing here in Florida. And I
Yep.
mean, that was really not a good time for tourists.
No way.
So Matt,
Um,
how strict was it over there since like how long was your lockdown for?
Yes, Sydney was pretty bad, and then Melbourne was the strictest in the world. So when we actually, some people sort of had trauma flashbacks when we had a screening in Melbourne, Victoria, and they were locked down for about 18 months. So it
Oh
was not,
wow.
Wow.
it just didn't stop. But Sydney was a bit better, but it wasn't good, no. So yeah, I think we're showing with the world that in this movie as well, we've captured stuff that seemed normal while we were filming it, but now it seems pretty bizarre to see people with masks but it also shows, I think, fluctuations around the world, like Florida and like we didn't shoot in Florida, but different US places where they might be a bit more open than say China, for example.
Yeah.
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 I did get a little PTSD flashbacks from watching this movie with all the Zoom calls.
Yeah, the one girl, Emily, when she was in China, yeah, with them coming to check her temperature. I remember hearing stories about that. So I mean, was she in China, or was that just filmed?
Believe it or not, she was in LA,
She was
and
in
we
LA. Okay.
we created all that. We took her to Chinatown and places and in LA. But we did have Chinese associates there filming footage for us as well. So
That's
Awesome.
movie magic for you,
Yeah,
man.
that is movie magic. That was very good, very well done. But no, I remember hearing that like in China they had several like they just completely locked down apartment buildings. Like they locked them from the outside. Like
yeah, well, I was trying to capture that. I was writing the novel during that early part, and I think some of that paranoia came in. You know what I mean? And so I think her character reflected that. But then I think it all, I didn't want to judge any character. Like I'm pretty much apolitical. I just don't vibe with any. I don't trust any politicians. And
Smart man.
yeah, and but I wanted, so I didn't want to push any agenda, but I wanted everyone to have their voice, which I think is something that wasn't really promoted during that time. So a character like that was just saying her stuff, and it's like, don't judge it, just let her say it, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
I think you captured her character pretty well.
Oh, very well.
Yeah, when people were in lockdown, their minds started to warp a little bit,
Yeah.
and then they got a little bit on the crazy side, and then something would snap them right back to reality.
yeah,
So I
absolutely.
definitely saw that happen with a few of my friends. So I think you did that one very well.
Yeah, and when we played to live audiences, it was quite interesting that some people were finding certain moments funny because it was just going into Crazyville with with argument. Like it was showing how politics was also dividing families.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I guess it still is in a way, but
I was gonna say 5 years later, it still is.
yeah, yeah, sad but true. Yeah.
So how did you go about the casting process, or did you have that like outsourced to another firm since you couldn't have been there? I didn't. How did you go about getting all the characters and having all of that line up correctly?
Yeah, we didn't have the budget for a casting director, so I just personally cast every single actor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was done. I mean, the caliber I got was amazing because you know, I remember for that role, Emma, you were talking about, I got about 500 top LA actresses, young actresses, but that had been in major stuff. And I think I benefited from the lockdown that no one could act at the time.
Yeah.
But I use the likes of a tip for other filmmakers is Backstage. I use that site and I found that really rewarding. And then I found people other ways, and some of them I already knew, especially here in Australia. So
Excellent.
Interesting. Now, another question I had about this. So now that obviously we're, years past the lockdown, have you had any thoughts about maybe like a follow-up sequel novel to like the aftermath, or if like how that affects people, but now that they're back to a normal world as normal as can be?
yeah, well, you might be able to see. I think I've got one poster there, Anno 2021. That's one of my future novels, at least I'm going to bring out. But the difference is that would cost about 20 million to film, so I don't know if I'd ever be able to make that. Because it's not one, 2020 was all Zoom, right? It's a lot of that we did get half our movie is shot via traditional camera, but we had that sort of intimate conversations. But 2021 is almost more volatile, but it wasn't that same sort of thing. So
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have something?
No.
Okay. No, I was just also going to ask. So it's also on the streaming and everything, but and you've done some of the film circuits. Are you going to plan on continuing to run this film through the film circuits going forward through the next year or so, or?
no, we pretty much did that between you generally do that between cinema and streaming, but once
Okay.
it's on streaming, it feels. I mean, it's possible, but I think we'll wind it down and move on to next things,
Yeah.
and just let it and just see where it goes with streaming. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can you just remind our audience like what streaming platforms you're currently on and which ones you're planning hopefully to be on?
We're on YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey for now. And
Okay.
then we're in talks with a couple that I don't want to name yet, but we're in talks with more traditional streamers
Fair
as well.
enough.
But
Okay.
I mean, when I began this, one of the things was I wanted it free for the world, especially when you make something like this that everyone is able to see it. And I think it's disappointing sometimes when there's a movie and it's just on. We do you guys find this like we can't really have a subscription to every single streamer?
Yes.
It's kind of frustrating now, isn't it? There's so many. And then going back way in the past, like you had a DVD store or a VHS store that you could everyone would be able to get stuff. But now it's good in a way with streaming, but it's so divided. So I'm quite happy that it's there for the world to see at any time.
Yeah, I
And
think the idea is more of like, the streaming was supposed to be you have access to more or it would get to more people, but then if a streaming service just automatically is like, oh well, yeah, we don't want to carry that anymore. It's just gone. Whereas
It's
if you
gone.
had the DVD or the VHS, you owned it. No one could take that away from you.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There's a few I've come across streamers that are carrying the classics, but it seems to be they're moving more and more to just the latest releases. So I don't know. It's almost like there's a graveyard of streaming movies
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
No?
Well, and plus a lot of these streaming services are making their own original
Yeah.
content and they're more focused on that. So, you have the Amazon original, Hulu original, this
Yeah.
and that original. It's like if you want to see everything original, you're basically spending about $5,000 a month on
Yeah.
platforms.
You're back on cable, basically.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like we've come full circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad someone else agrees with us.
But that's going to be an interesting subject, like where movies go, because whether these streamers can ultimately compete against YouTube. Because I'm seeing more and more like movies with stars just on YouTube. And so I don't know. And it's also a challenge to breaking down the Hollywood system, isn't it? Like they're having trouble. No one knows where the industry is going. So I just
Exactly.
figured during this time I'll make my own picture, get it out, and then you've got a calling card, you've shown a certain style. Not that I necessarily want to stay with this particular like art house experimental style. It's just a beginning. But yeah, I think having it available to the world is one of the things I'm most excited about at the moment, that anyone can view it right now.
No, fantastic.
So what would you say was maybe your if you had like a funny story from shooting, or maybe like a hiccup that happened that, you know, worked out to maybe your favor? You know, we've interviewed several people of like, oh, you know, we couldn't get this warehouse in time or something, and it was like a wild series of events that
Or a
happened.
transformer fell off
Yeah,
a
a
pole.
transformer
It
fell.
started a fire.
Something weird, but I always hear that, you know, something beautiful comes out of making a movie, and it's something that you had never even like planned on.
Yeah, well, this movie was like that pretty much every day, where it was about working with accidents, and actually 75% of the dialogue was improvised, okay? So it was all about just sort of experimenting and almost rehearsing before camera. So one of the ones that comes to mind is, do you remember the scene where the lights go out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that scene, actually the lights did go out. So
Oh,
then
wow.
then the actor in Rochester, New York, was working to quickly fix it. And I said, hang on a minute, that could work for the character. Let me think about it. Okay, let's stick with this. And then we went back and did other takes where the lights are out, you know? So it was that sort of lightning in a bottle moments. Or another one would be, did you see the one where the sun comes behind the tree?
Oh
And
yeah.
Yep.
And the
and
brother points it out.
yeah, and as I was watching it, I was going, please notice that, because it's a really cool, like the ray of light coming through. So it was just about, I think these accidents became a bigger part of the story than what I'd written. So I think that, and that's an underrated side, depending on the type of film you've got, but I think that's an underrated side to film as opposed to, say, theater, is film is really often capturing unusual moments that you don't expect. And that's really hard when you've written something, say as a writer director, it's quite challenging to then go, okay, let me recalibrate this in my mind. Okay, I think we can work with this accident, or something different has
Yeah.
happened. And that's the big challenge, you know? Yeah.
Very cool. Another question I had is, I know you know you shot it all over, but in general, like, what is like, is it difficult to shoot in Australia? Like, as far as like the rules go, I don't know what you call it, like here,
Regulations.
like regulations and stuff. Like here in the States, you know, Hollywood has their stuff, but like every state kind of has certain permitting or some restrictions or none at all. So what's that compared to how they do it in Australia?
Yeah, I'd say it's not as strict as, say, shooting in LA, but if you're shooting in downtown Sydney, you need permits and everything, and it can inflate the budget. But the thing is, with this, we would just run and gun guerrilla style. So even when we were in Grand Central Station in New York, we had no permits. See? That's a little reported thing about a lot of low budget stuff, is they can't afford to get into all that. And if we'd asked what's fascinating, if we'd asked for a permit during that time with Grand Central Station, there's no way they would have given it to us.
No.
Right.
We were shooting when it was quite barren, and we were doing it undercover. But we just got in there with our actors, and again, it was sort of like real life, because you could go in there as a person, you could go in there during lockdown and film yourself or film a friend. So we were doing something like that, but it just so happened that the actors were acting. Um, so yeah, I think in a way it made it even bigger scale by just going totally guerrilla style, you know?
Nice. Yeah,
Um,
that's that term, guerrilla filmmaking. That's very much that style. You just kind of get out
Mhm.
there and film the shot whenever you can, however you can, especially on
Yeah.
lower budgets, or if you have like a very indie low budget type thing.
Well, to follow up on Tony's question, when the uncle is teaching his niece how to play tennis at the tennis courts towards the end of
Yeah.
the movie, you could see the logo of a major sports equipment brand in the background. Did you have to get special permission to keep that in the movie, or did you just say, "We're keeping it, I don't care"?
I think that's a bit of a misnomer when people say you can't have brands. I know I've been on many film sets where they say you can't have a brand, but actually, as long as that brand is shown in the right light, like if you showed a person playing tennis with Nike shoes, say, that's,
Mm.
as long as it's nothing insulting to the brand, that you actually can have brands. But that is a common misunderstanding with the film industry. But we actually thought about going to Wilson for sponsorship because we're really highlighting it. But it was kind of weird because we've already shot it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have permission to? Oh, okay, good, because we did it. I like that. It's better to ask forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Yes.
That's right.
And so,
No, it's just, I mean, a lot of this movie was about, I think a lot, you mentioned about, permission, forgiveness, all that. I think a lot of it was just about saying, like, we just started filming this and going, wait, because we went to a few finances, but it was too obscure and it doesn't fit into a commercial genre, right? So I wasn't surprised that we had to just throw in a few grand ourselves. But we just basically started filming and going, wait, can we do this? Oh, well, we've shot something, so let's keep going. It was like that. And then it's sort of a realization that I think the big thing is, as a filmmaker, sometimes with these types of things, is just giving yourself permission and just saying, yeah, we can do this. And really, I don't think film councils or districts or so on, or cities really care that much about, this is basically what they call a no budget movie. I don't think they care. It's more, if a Hollywood movie came in and and believe it or not, sometimes they come up with a scene where sometimes they don't even have a permit. They grab a quick scene. There was a famous one in Terminator 1 where Arnold was shooting a scene and they didn't have a permit and they quickly shot it. So that sort of stuff would annoy them. But I think at our level, I just think it's totally safe. And the thing is, I guess, from my perspective, is the lead team is based in Australia. So if someone in New York City rang us, well, why would we care?
Yeah, right.
that's a good point.
Yeah, I like that. Come get us.
Yeah. If American filmmakers, would they care if they had a holiday in Australia and shot a movie, then came back to America? You're not under their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So,
The statute of limitations does not count.
I plead.
The other question I had is, when you were talking earlier, you said, this is your first film, it's kind of like an experimental piece for you, kind of working on that. What would be your ideal? Like, what is the next film you'd like to do? Like, is there a specific genre you'd like to aim for that you've always thought about doing?
Well, I've got a bunch of. I'm probably going to stick with novel to films. I've got a bunch of novels that are in like a lot of thrillers, horrors, that sort of thing. Probably mystery is my favorite genre, just unraveling a mystery. And I think even with Anno 2020, it wasn't really a mystery, but the way we edited it became a bit of a mystery. You have to piece together what's going on. So I think that came from my love of mystery. But yeah, it really depends now on what gets financed from here and what the market says. But
So James,
yeah.
also like piggybacking off that for your novels, do we have anywhere that, the listeners could go, read your stuff on? Is it anything on Amazon or, where can they get, any of your other works?
Yeah, so I am in quite a few bookstores around the world. I think Barnes and Nobles, ones like that, Waterstones in the UK, and then Amazon's one of the best places for my books. Yeah, but they're pretty
Awesome.
much they're available all over the show. Wherever you find books, they're there. So that's pretty much how made I built the book site up first, and that's how I've sort of had the funds to be able to now focus on movies,
Yeah,
because it
that's
takes a bit of
excellent.
time. Yeah. So and I think that what was underrated was, I found that my directing was I found it was inspired by novel writing in a way. You wouldn't normally make that link. You would go, well, novels are totally different. But I think in a way, a novelist is is responsible for a fictional world, which is exactly the same as a director.
Hmm.
So that was something that I wasn't expecting, but I found it was useful background.
So you found that was kind of like an easier segue getting into that director's chair, is like being, you're thinking of it more of like that fictional novel writer.
Yeah, and I had opportunities to direct when I was younger, because I have been a screenwriter for a long time as well. And I've made movies as a screenwriter and an actor, but I'm glad that I didn't direct till now, because I think you have to pull together so many pieces. You just need so much experience. It's
Hmm.
quite a challenge. And you kind of only get one shot as a director. like I wouldn't been wanting to give a huge budget on my first movie or when I was too young, because Hollywood's full of people who just got into that position and then you'll find they'll never work again. There's a lot like that.
Yeah.
So, so I think it's about getting that experience as you go, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so kind of a little piggyback off that, you found the translation from, the novel to director was a good translation. As far as like, do you have any directors or writers that were kind of like an inspiration for you that you kind of took a little bit of thought process from or said, or their style?
Yes, I'd say Francis Ford Coppola with if you take Apocalypse Now, the I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes of that, and I love the improv and so on there. And again, they were picking up a lot of accidents in the jungle there. But then in terms of formulating stories, this director who's in the news at the moment, Paul Thomas Anderson, and I
Mhm.
really recommend his latest movie, One Battle After Another, with DiCaprio. That's a blinder. But a lot of his films, so going back to, I don't know if you've seen Magnolia,
Oh yeah.
that that kind of has a similar structure to Anno, where you've got many interconnected characters rather than and it's not a singular story.
Yeah.
So that type of thing. But he would be one of the most influential on me. Yeah.
It's a good pick there.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
No,
something
no,
that-
I was just gonna say, well, from watching the movie, it felt like you got a little bit of information from that movie Crash, where it was a bunch of people living out different sections, but it was always culminating into something at the end. Because I know in this movie, there were a bunch of people living different stories that weren't really connected until one of the final scenes where you realize most of them were in that virtual spiritual group.
Yes, yes. Crash, yeah, that was a great movie. It wasn't something I was thinking about a lot during it, but I can understand what you mean when they come together.
Hmm.
I mean, it was quite a challenge in bringing everything together because I'm covering a whole year. So in one way, it's like an ultra low budget, no budget movie almost. In another way, I've got the whole world, and it's a year in our lives. So it was tricky to. I had to almost let the story inform me, and towards the end, I started to feel we need to get rid of the divisions between people, and whatever individuals in the audience have gone through, we all need to kind of relate to it. So that's what the ending was about. It's just, and as I say, sometimes it's less to do with the director. It's just the story starts to take over, and you
Hmm.
realize that's what it needed to be. But Kevin Scott Allen, the wonderful veteran American actor, his monologue was so he did that in 2 takes. That whole monologue at the
Oh
end there.
wow.
That
Damn.
was that was all we needed. Um, and he drove out from his home in LA to Palm Springs. We shot that, and some of that was improvised. So this movie was also about viewing the actors as co-storytellers with me, which is why you might have noticed in the end credits, a lot of the lead actors get a additional writer's credit, like it's additional dialogue actually, because I thought that was fair because they were telling the story with me. So this was a very most movies, especially when you have a writer director, that's his vision. But I had to tell this with everyone, and this was a very collaborative story. And I've got, some of these. So he's an example. Kevin Scott Allen he goes right back to working with Andy Kaufman and people like that back in the 70s. So, and he's a novelist as well. So I'm dealing with great storytelling minds besides myself. So it was about just pulling it all together rather than just saying, do this.
Fantastic. What is that from? So-
Which we're coming down to the final 10 minutes.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Actually,
So, well, another thing I was going to mention though on your next film, so when you go to do that, and if you ever decide to film in the States, not just because we live here, but a huge recommendation for you is Florida because so many different landscapes, so many different
Yeah.
areas, but they also do Florida does this great like rebate program or incentive
Yeah.
program if you film here. It's the whole commission from all the counties in the whole state. They do it. So, just something to look into if you're ever looking to film in the Sunshine State, you can come on down here, man.
Definitely, and on top of that, I think what I remember from being in Florida is the vibrant cultures there as well. So especially say Latin American, it's
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's went across, construction to, even food around the area. It's completely ingrained, 100%.
yeah. So if you could bring that out in film, that'd be amazing.
And if you ever need, 3 extras, I don't know. We'll gladly jump on a Zoom too.
Let me write that down. Anno 2021, Florida. We're shooting there.
Yeah, you can do the whole Hollywood thing. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Yeah,
We'll set it up.
We'll have our people call your people.
Yeah.
Until you realize I don't have any people.
Oh man. So I did have one other question. Could you just walk through? Could you kick
Yeah,
that
yeah.
up a little bit? Sorry, my AC just kicked on and this thing's loud.
Okay. Yeah, we had a few problems like that
Get
with
that thing up, just push it up to a couple degrees. There you go. Good deal. Fantastic.
that's a bitch. That's a bitch when you're filming and something like that kicks on as well.
Boy.
Oh man. But yeah, so I wanted to just kind of we got a few minutes left before we have to head out, but just kind of want to do a couple quick follow-ups. So multiple streaming platforms, you said YouTube. What was the second one? I can't remember.
Rumble and
Rumble.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think those are sites in the States, but I
I
might
think
be wrong.
I think Rumble is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can find
Yeah.
YouTube's everywhere.
Oh yeah, YouTube. Yeah.
Everybody uses YouTube, man. But yeah, no, we wanted to just say thank you again, for joining us. We enjoyed talking to you, enjoyed the film. Look forward to it. If you'd like, we'd like to stay in contact and see like what the next thing is for, the film. Like, because you said you kind of seen how things go with streaming. So we'd love to do a follow up with you, or next time you got a film coming out, or even if it's just an idea that you're ready to go in pre-production, we'd like to have you back on and talk about it.
Yeah, and who knows, we might do it in person in Florida one day.
There you go.
That'd be awesome.
Even better, man.
Don't threaten us with a good time.
Yeah. Well, James,
Cool.
seriously, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate you taking the time. We look forward to having you back sometime in the future. And best of luck to you on everything. And just send us also an email and let us know how things are going as well.
Cool. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Oh,
James.
thank
We'll
you.
talk to you later. And for you, the viewers, stick around. We'll do a little wrap up here. But until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we're your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
Gavin Butts.
I'm Patrick Wall.
And to you, James.
And I'm James Morcan.
Awesome. Thank you, James. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that was James from Australia,
Sydney. Yes.
Sydney, Australia, talking about ANNO 2020.
Yep.
Originally by way of New Zealand.
Yes, originally by way of New Zealand. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
I liked him. Definitely would like to have him back again.
Yes,
100%.
100%.
And it was really interesting to me when he said like 75% of the dialogue was improvised in the movie. And then he wasn't like a snob and he's like, you're just an actor. I'm not giving you any additional credit. He's like, no, I gave him writing credits too.
But yeah, no, I mean I think that shows a whole lot of, courage too, to be able to say, hey, this is my idea, but
You helped. You're helping.
And well, not only that,
Yeah.
giving that creative onus to someone is like, it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing a lot of like directors and stuff have trouble is letting go of some of that control. It's my film.
Not yours. You were just a paid actor.
Ooh. You're just a pawn in my tail. No, but that was really good. I'd be interested to see what he comes out with next.
Well, you saw the poster in the
ANNO
background.
2021.
Yep, he's
Well,
working on it.
he was saying that they wouldn't have the budget to be
Yeah,
able
it
to
was
do
going to
that.
be $20 million
That was-
to make that movie.
Yeah.
But he said he was writing the book.
Yeah.
So keep a lookout for that one.
And I got to say, I mean, it's interesting to also, it goes back to the trust factor of like you're dealing with people from all over the world.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're trusting that they're going to get this done like the way you want. Because really, at the end of the day, if like you were filming something in Europe and I was here doing my part and you said, no, I don't like that, I'd be like, well, tough.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Fly back from Luxembourg? Dick?
Find somebody else.
I don't know why I'm in one of the richest cities in the country.
Yeah.
Are you flying from Switzerland with your Swiss bank account? Don't know why, but
I'm worth $2.5 million
that the government knows about.
No, but definitely cool. I didn't get a chance to ask him fully. I know he said some of the circuit things, but I didn't get a chance to ask him what all film circuits he went through.
I think
festivals.
I think he just said it was Australian.
Just Australian circuits. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we were trying to allude like, hey, there's some really good ones here in the States, but he's like, yeah, we're already past that. And
Yeah.
it's like, which is a shame because, bringing it stateside would give him more viewership or recognition.
Well, and I mean, it's also it'd probably be his movie budget trying to get over here. And
Yeah,
hit
that's
several
true. He
of
said he
those.
made this on a $6,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, the reason why I asked is,
I spent $200K out there running around circuits.
well, there have been some, and I think that's why he said that too. We'll see how the streaming goes because he said it wasn't
Yeah.
out of the question because there have been some people if they're not saying he won't, but if they're not as successful as they want to be in streaming, they bring it back to a film festival circuit to see if they can get distribution
Yeah.
through
Which we've
a larger release.
learned over our many years of talking with everybody in this industry. They're like, film festivals are great, but it's mainly for like an elevator pitch to get your movie
Yeah.
distributed.
Yeah, get it bought.
Yeah.
Have it bought by somebody.
Get it option, son.
Buy my movie. It'll make you smile.
Motherfucking shark ate me.
You'll be talking like this in no time.
Drink my beer. It'll get you drunk.
Well, I think it's interesting too. I know we've mentioned
Real
it.
quick, I just got a shout out. That's from the Chappelle Show, in case anyone didn't know.
Well, we've talked about it offline. I don't think I brought it up when we last mentioned that we were going to have him on. Is that and I believe it was the person Lance from the PR firm who reached out to us
Initially, yeah.
to introduce us to him. And I can't remember if it was. I want to say it was James that told me that he had seen stuff he was familiar with Kimberly Harris.
Yes, I did
And-
see that in the email.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see how everything kind of ties together
Yeah.
now, you know, because we got with her initially through a PR firm,
Yeah,
but it's kind of cool to see how like now we're met this person knows this person, and they're
Yeah.
all in different places.
as big as the movie industry is, it's very tightly knit. Like everyone
Oh, yeah.
seems to know a lot of people.
Oh yeah, well they all go to the same stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same soundstage in Burbank.
Well, I mean, look at like Tony and Darwin and all them. They're all going to Cannes.
Yeah, that's
cons.
true. And
So
probably
everybody's
Sundance after that.
Yeah. But, they all probably have seen each other or met each other at one point or another. I'd be like, next time if you ever want some characters in Barcelona or Italy or something, here's a group of guys to reach out to.
Come on, Edwin, I'm waiting.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was, definitely good. A really nice guy. Seems
definitely.
like he knows what he's doing. That's not a bad, first kickoff for a debut film.
No, for your first film, to be getting picked up for streaming and a cinema run, it's
Yep.
not something I'd be getting that tattooed on my chest.
Oh,
First movie in theaters, suck it.
Well, I knew if I was doing my first full-length feature and it was having to do with the way he did it remotely,
Yeah,
that would drive me
Oh,
up
yeah.
the wall. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'd even finish it myself. I wouldn't have the wherewithal to do it. I'd be like, I need to be there. I need to see what's going on.
Be having
Yeah.
anxiety on the
Yeah.
hour.
Where are they at? Where are they at? They're not on
I
the
should have
computer.
asked him when we were talking about that. Like, how was he just getting the dailies emailed to him, and then he was like, "All right, tomorrow we need to reshoot this a little bit differently," or was his face just like on a laptop in like a director's chair watching it?
From what I gathered, when we were talking, it was like, at times he was on there for, most of the part, like where they have 5 people or
Yeah.
5 different locations on at the same time.
Yeah,
And the other thing too, and I don't think he specified it, but from what I took from it, it almost seemed like he was doing a lot of the producing as well.
Yeah.
So he was probably
Yeah.
doing all that. He was the one probably sending out the call sheets and,
yeah, probably.
and the dailies.
Waking up at 4, sending all those, and then sitting down at his laptop for flat. Just
Who
like
says
7
he
hours.
slept?
That's probably the one beauty part about doing all over the world is because there's so many different time zones.
Yeah.
So you may have time. So maybe the night before you're going to bed, you're sending this stuff out to them. They're getting in. You wake up and you're ready to start shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'd definitely be interested in finding some of his other novels.
Yeah. You did say he wrote a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did check out a little bit on his IMDb, and they do show, that he's a novelist, an author. So I'd definitely be interested to see some of, read some of the books. Because, I mean, obviously translating a novel to a movie is,
It's
there's
difficult.
Yeah,
It's probably a little bit
task.
easier when you're the guy who wrote the novel, though.
Yeah.
I was surprised being that he's a novelist and made a movie that when I asked him about like inspiration or stuff, I was actually kind of shocked he didn't bring up Stephen King. Now I know Stephen King's a completely different genre style, but if anybody has had more novels made into movies,
Yeah, that's true.
that's
It is the one that just came out. So we're talking about like Oscar nominees for a couple of things, which I still really want to see. It's called The Long Walk, by the way.
Yep.
I heard it's really good.
And for those of you It fans out there, Welcome to Derry will be coming out in
Yes.
October.
Welcome to what?
Welcome to Derry.
What's that?
It's the prequel series.
It's
Oh,
the
to
town
Oh.
Yeah.
of It.
Well, one, I didn't see the remake.
I know.
I only saw the,
Well, the original,
two-part
the town was
miniseries.
still Derry in the original.
Yeah, but I was also
In
like
fact,
11 when I first saw
A lot of his movies, that's where he uses the name of the town. It's Derry, Maine.
Oh.
And but
Don't
this
shake
is
your head at me.
this is a whole prequel series to it, though. So you get
You
to learn
deserve
about
that dolphin hat.
Real quick, Tony. What about you makes you think that I like Stephen King movies?
everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm real lining up to go watch. Well, to be fair, Misery is a really good movie.
So stand by me.
Yeah.
But not to get too far off track,
Yeah.
So let's
Back to James.
Yeah, back
Back
to
to
James,
James.
man. Back to Australia.
Yeah, because we've only got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Well, it's just really just a wrap up.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But
Just
overall, it
final
was a great
thoughts.
interview.
Yeah.
We got to see a director's debut film pretty early. Like we had the screener link.
Screener, yep.
But unfortunately, due to schedules, we watched it after it started streaming.
Yeah.
But
Well, they first reached out to us prior to it being released
Yeah.
because they said they would like to do the interview before the release, and then unfortunately we just had the
Well,
other
with everything with Pencil Gator and
Yeah, we
trying
had
to get
that.
all that. Which I have a question from Joseph. I gotta hit you up offline for.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a question for me for Joseph, or
Yeah.
a question for
Forward.
Don't
from
worry about
Joseph?
it. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
We'll talk about that later.
Told you
wasn't
that story
at
to
that-
tell you this story.
I wasn't in that interview, so I can't answer any of these questions.
But we do only have a few minutes left, so we'll just kind of give you kind of a few other heads ups on some things. So, first of all, thank you again to James for joining us. Thank you to his PR firm for reaching out to
Yes.
us.
Yes.
And if anybody's, if you guys are listening and watching, on any of the platforms, or if you're a PR firm and you got people out there you want us to meet up with and talk to, please keep sending them our way. We love this stuff.
Yeah.
There is going to be, we're only about a month away from the Animation Film Festival.
Yep.
So we got to start really planning that out, figuring those times, those dates. I know it's November 6th through the 9th. Again, thank you to University of Tampa and Pencil Gator for inviting us to that. We also do have, this one may be a surprise to you. I don't know if you guys checked the emails, but we do have another interview next week that we're going to be doing that's scheduled.
Cool.
So that's going to actually be with Dana from Pencil Gator and the other woman that she was talking about, her person that they were doing a film with.
Yeah.
So they were reaching out. They want to do it. They're local, obviously. So we're probably just going to do it via Zoom. That way it'll be easier. Because
Gotcha.
Dana, I think, is like in Tampa, or she's somewhere around
She's
there.
close to UT. I remember talking to her about that.
And her friend is or her coworker is, I believe, in like Safety Harbor area.
Okay.
So we were gonna maybe do in person, but we just decided just to do the Zoom to make it easier. So we got that coming up next week. We got the film festival coming up in a month. We got other stuff.
Yeah.
And then we'll be coming into the spooky month.
Which we'd have to talk about offline, but I do
Yes.
have an idea.
All right. We'll talk about that as soon as he talks about
That's
Joseph with me.
dangerous.
So he's got to talk to me about
Patrick's
Joseph.
got an
He's-
idea.
he's got
Watch
an idea.
out.
Stop the presses and
why
stop
the lights went
listening.
off.
It's probably
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be a
why the
bad
lights
one.
went off.
But yeah, that is all the time we have. Thank you guys so much. Again, thank you to James. Anno 2020, check it out. It's on streaming services.
I just
YouTube,
looked it up.
Rumble.
It's free on YouTube.
Okay.
Probably with ads, but it's still free.
Check it out. Let us know what you think, and then we'll keep you updated on any further updates that are going on. But until then, for Movie Talks and Chill, we are your hosts. I'm Tony Serrato.
I'm Gavin
I'm
Butts.
Patrick Wall.
All right, guys, take care.